Hello, soulful entrepreneurs. This is Kavita, and this is the Soulful Entrepreneurs Club podcast. And this week, I am continuing the series on entrepreneurial success, keys to entrepreneurial success. Last week, I talked about focus, and the week before that, I talked about doing the inner work. And so this week, I am talking about community and support. Okay. So, entrepreneurs by nature tend to be independent spirits, right? They want maybe you show up as organized or as you show up in different ways, but in the end when someone starts a business, there's a certain part of you at least that wants freedom and independence, right? Which is why you're starting the business. And you also probably have, if you're listening to this podcast, you have a vision, this higher vision of what you want to create, and even a calling of why you're doing the work that you do in the world. So, when we have this vision, oftentimes when we tell the people closest to us, we are judged, right? So I remember when I was starting my first business, I've had different businesses since 2003. Um, and I was telling people what I was doing. People would all often dismiss me and not take it seriously. Some people even told me things like, "Oh, it's nice that you're keeping yourself busy." That's a completely different conversation. That could be a whole other podcast on its own, right? So the thing is that when you start a business, you can feel like maybe people don't really understand what I'm doing, and I don't know if I should reach out for support, right? So, um, we can then come to isolating ourselves. And then when we do that, that becomes how we function. And so oftentimes we don't reach out for support and for community. And so, one of the keys to really being successful as an entrepreneur is to have support and community. Now, that might not be the same community around you, the same community, like for me with kids. I have kids and they're the parents of those kids, right? It may not be those same people. Sometimes they are. But having people that understand what it is to be an entrepreneur and the challenges that you're facing is so important. Okay. So being alone on your own, it's easy to get distracted. A lot of entrepreneurs have challenges with loneliness and feel a sense of like that, there's like this the sense of being isolation, right? So loneliness and isolation, and not that people don't understand them. Now, being in communities of other business owners and entrepreneurs, it's so important for your emotional and mental well-being, even if you're not necessarily doing that for building your business, although that generally does happen. Okay. So, as an entrepreneur, I think it's really important for you to have some community and have some support. Some people have found communities online, and that's also fine. I think it would be great to have some local community people locally that you can get together and talk about your business, talk about strategies, work together, collaborate, all those things. I know that when I started each of my businesses, I would always network and I continue to. And when I go to these groups, it's so amazing. I feel so much better after going to the right groups where I've connected with other business owners. And I feel like I'm learning so much and I'm around people that understand me. And it usually, it always results in growing my business. Of course, that depends on how you show up at these events, right? You don't want to be what do they call the business card, doing the business card shuffle, those people that go around and throw business cards at everybody. We're not doing that, right? We're talking about showing up and being present as a human being, right? And you want to connect with others. So that is so important. And the other thing that I have found important in my work is to have a mentor, to have a coach. Because when I hire a coach that's ahead of me, right? They're ahead of where I am. They can guide me to get there so much faster. And then I also don't feel alone because I can go to this mentor or coach and say, "Hey, this is what's happening." And they understand and they hold space for me and they're able to help me figure out my next steps. They can see things that I can't see on my own, right? And so there's so much value in receiving that kind of support and the support through community. Okay. Um, the other type of support that I'm talking about is the support of maybe some kind of assistant to help you, like a virtual assistant to help you with some of the tasks in your business as you start to be able to invest in that. You should invest in that before you actually fully need it, because when you need it, it's hard to find someone and then train the person properly. Okay. So they know what you want them, how you would like things to be done for your business. Right. So, it's important to have that idea that you're going to create that support. And then, there are other support contractors you could have in your business or other business owners you can hire. Bookkeeping is a good one, right? It's good to be mindful of your income and the numbers. And so if you can invest in a bookkeeper, that is usually a really good payoff for your business. And then so coaching, a bookkeeper, virtual assistant help, right? Things like that, and things that will help you grow. I know that I like to hire other mothers as virtual assistants. I have for years because that's how I want to invest in my money that I've made for my business. I feel like that's a good way to be able to support another woman and mother. That's my choice, right? What is your way? How do you want to do things, right? How do you want to run your business? Um, and so doing it all by yourself may work in the beginning. At a certain point, you will come up against block, which is usually yourself. Okay. So, like how they say, you get in your own way. We often get in our own way without realizing it. So, being all around people not only creates connections around people that are like minded. I know that's overused, but you know what I mean if I say that. And so, when you're around these other people that are like minded, you raise each other up and support each other in growing your businesses versus being alone and being stuck in like this hamster wheel, right? Or you could go back, like what I talked about last week, into the bright, shiny object syndrome. And so part of that is finding the right communities, finding the right coaches, and someone that may be a coach for you at one point, you may be done with them moving forward. I mean, I've had coaches I've worked with in the past, and it became time to move on to someone else. And it wasn't because that was a bad relationship. It just went as far as it was meant to be. So if you've ever considered working with me and you want to know what that could potentially be like, I'm having my masterclass, which I've talked about in my last podcast. It's like a little bit of an experience of what it would be like to work with me. It's a free 90-minute masterclass. I'm having one on November 1st. So if you're listening to this after that, it already passed. But I'm also having one more on November 8th. And it's the same class that I'm just offering twice. And it's how to attract dream clients you love. So in this class, I will go into some of the strategies to attract your clients, what may be stopping you from attracting your clients. And also I'll talk about some ways to use AI to support you. So you can register for that class. And I have the link down in the show notes. And so as you're looking into this community and support, that could be one option, right? I could be one of the people that hopefully will be able to support you. And I have that privilege of doing that. And if not, find support. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Find support, find a community, be around other people. We are not meant to be isolated alone and by ourselves. We are meant to be with other human beings. And as an entrepreneur, sometimes we have to be a little bit more discerning about who we spend our time with. People that will raise us up, that will understand the challenges that we face. Spending time with those people will benefit you, benefit the people around you, your loved ones, and it'll definitely benefit your business. So the community and the support, that's so important. It's like I know there's more than one thing, but I think it's in the same category. So that key to success is vital. I really believe that. And if you really want to accelerate your growth, the coaching and mentoring, if you want to then also move forward into being around other people and collaborate, then finding the networking groups. So, community support. Okay, so that is a key to entrepreneurial success that may look different for every single one of you. Find the way that works for you. It won't be perfect. Just take steps, move towards that, move towards being in community. Especially after these last few years, it can be even more challenging, but it's more needed than ever before. So, this is Kavita with the Soulful Entrepreneurs Club podcast. Until next week, take good care. Bye.